everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Ignite Your Glow, the podcast. This is a space where faith driven women just like yourselves are ready to be done playing with small and you're ready to begin to rise up instead. Here, we don't just talk about success, but we confront the setbacks, we honor the pivots, and we celebrate the God moves that reshape our lives in the process. Every single week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm bringing to you real conversations, bold truths, and powerful testimonies that stir up the spirit and stretch your mindset. Whether you're navigating personal growth, launching a business, or simply trying to breathe through a hard season, this is the place that you can come to be seen, to be sharpened, and to be set ablaze. If you're ready to silence that doubt, walk in divine confidence, and redefine what's possible with God, let me tell you, you're in the right place. So let's go ahead and glow up together. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Jessica M. Harris. I am an empowerment coach and I am faith driven in the ability to be able to be passionately able to work with you in this season. I'm excited for the growth and all the more that is ready for you. That being said, we're kicking off with a brand new series called Mindset Mobility. Listen, I believe that when life changes, you don't have to break when it does. You just need to move a little differently. And maybe you're somebody right now that's facing a career change. Maybe you're facing a change in your purpose, a change in your calling. Maybe you're even feeling that internal pull right back and forth inside of you, and you're kind of questioning your routines, you're questioning your habits, you're questioning the direction that you should be going in right now. And honestly, that kind of questioning can cause your confidence to be a little shaken. It can make you feel like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I taking the right steps? And that may even cause you to question if you're even hearing God right in this season. And I just want to let you know that just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's not God. Just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that God's not trying to stretch you in the process. Why? Because God uses us in these specific type of situations to stretch us. He uses these situations to shift us. He uses the situations to allow us to grow in the midst of it all. That being said, if you're feeling like things are a little unfamiliar in this moment, that's okay. Why? Because you're going to trust that God is still very much in control. Now, let's get back to this topic here on mindset mobility and let's really discuss a little bit more. What does that look like and what does that mean? So, the word mindset mobility says it's the ability to adapt, to shift, and to expand your thinking in response to new challenges and goals or even seasons of your life. It means that you're not actually mentally stuck. It does mean that you're willing to grow, that you're willing to reframe, and that you're willing to evolve how you think about yourself and your situation and how you believe God to still be the God who can do all things. Period. Now, a woman with mindset mobility, this is what she can do. She's able to see the limitations from one perspective and shift in the understanding that God that she serves is a limitless God. So therefore, everything is possible with She's able to shift from walking in fear and doubting and whatnot to understanding that her faith moves are going to build the momentum that she desires. She understands that if she can let go of those old limiting belief systems that no longer serve a purpose in her life, she can now open herself up to endless possibilities. She understands that by adopting new perspective, it enhances the ways in which she's able to see a new version of life that she entire excuse me, a new version of her life that she desires. Listen, we moving up in this season. New levels of glory to go with it. I'm just saying. So, here is something that I wanted to have you guys walk with me a little bit on today because I thought that this was a fine example of how we can begin to see how we kind of, construct where we are versus where we're headed. So, for those of you who know, I'm also a mom to three incredible kids. And y'all, what kids don't like going to the playground or don't like going to the park? And if they're like my little people, they like the park a lot. That being said, here's an example that I thought was interesting to share, and I wanted to bring it with you guys today. So I want you guys to think for a moment, right? Picture yourself. You're at a park, you're at a playground, they have slides, they have swings, and they have the infamous monkey bars. Now, I don't know about your playgrounds, but I know the monkey bars that I grew up playing on were the ones that felt like they were so high off the ground that if you dropped, you was really going to drop. if you feel me, right? I'm just saying. So, that being said, I want you to really envision, right, watching a child go across the monkey bars and getting to the halfway mark. Now, for those of you who have used the monkey bars as a kid, you know you kind of start off strong, you excited, like, man, I got this, I got this, I got this. And then there's always this point, I promise y'all, when you're on the monkey bars where you kind of stop. And whether you're stopping because you're doubting or you're stopping because you're getting tired, but there's this like pause in a sense, right? It's like you started going, you wasn't really paying attention to how high you were off the ground. You wasn't paying attention, to the fact that you still had a ways to go. You was just going at it. And then there's that moment where you pause, that moment where your feet are dangling and you're looking like, shoot, do I have enough strength to keep going? Or do I stop right here? And then in the background, right, your parents are kind of cheering you on, like, go ahead, baby, you got this. Go ahead, boo, you can keep going. Listen, I got you. I'm right here. And for me, y'all, I promise y'all, when my kids were little, I was the parent who would be looking up under them, like, okay, I'm right here. I ain't got time for no one to break no ankles. That happened to a friend of mine's sister, too. That's crazy. She broke her ankles shaking my head. That's a whole story because we didn't know she broke her ankle. We thought that when she fell, that she was like playing. Y'all, I was young. I was young. But it ended up being that we thought that she was playing because she was the person who kind of like exaggerated the situations a little bit. So we kind of just told her, like, you're good. You can walk it off. Y'all. Oh, man. So sorry. So sorry. So sorry, y'all. But anyways, I remember we got back in the car and stuff like that, and we told her mom, like, yeah, like she fell and stuff. And she was older. She was older. She was a teenager when she had fell. But she was older, so that's why we thought, like, you're fine, just walk it out, walk it out. Y'all know. We told her mom was like, okay, well, her daughter, she told her daughter the same thing to walk it out, you're fine. And it's not funny, but I'm laughing because I remember like getting the call from my friend, I think the next day. And she told me, and she was like, yo, I think her leg, I don't know if it swelled or something happened with her leg the next morning. But whatever it was, they had to take her to the hospital. And her mom was going to take her to the hospital anyway the next day because she was complaining about it. But it was like, this was like a Sunday. So nobody was doing an emergency room visit because it costs a lot. So we was going to wait till Monday. But I remember getting the text message Monday. I think it was like by the afternoon. And she was like, yo, you remember when she fell? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yo, she broke her ankles. And I was like, oh man. And all I could tell her mom was like, yo, I'm so sorry because we really sat there and was like trying to tell her to walk it out when she shouldn't have walked it out. Now, I'm sharing this example. I wasn't going to share it, but it's coming to mind. I'm sharing this example with you though because sometimes, and how many of you, right, can honestly raise your hand on this part, matter of fact, where you've tried it before. And when you tried it before, you fell and you got hurt, or you've tried it before and you didn't make it to the other side because something happened. Maybe your palms get sweaty. I know that happens to me sometimes, right? Or you get the blisters on your hands and it hurts, right, as you're going through the monkey bars. And that memory kind of starts to stick out to you as you're going forward. And you have that hesitation, right? And then you begin like this child. You have this moment of trying to think like, should I keep going? Should I stop? Should I call for help? I want to get down, right? And I feel like there's that little child in all of us because I can't remember offhand if my friend's sister ever wanted to go back on the monkey bars after that example, like after that situation. She probably didn't want to. Why? Because there was that reminder that something bad happened the last time she tried. Well, if you're picturing this other young girl, right, going across the monkey bars, and she finally gets to that same spot where it may have happened before, she could easily become stuck there. Not because she doesn't have the capabilities or the ability to do it, because clearly she can, because she already went from the beginning to where she is. But there's something about that part right there that sometimes causes the reminder of past hurts, right? Past pains, past situations, that now your mind is so focused and caught up on what has happened in the former that you don't realize that if you would just make the decision to go forward, you probably could actually press through. Think about it. How often have we sat there in the middle of a movement that God told us to make and we're looking like, but God? last time I stepped out, I thought, it was going to be one way and X, Y, and Z happened. Or last time X, Y, and Z happened, right? Like either the breakthrough didn't come through the way that you wanted it to, or maybe it didn't come at the time that you thought it would, right? Or maybe there was something there that you thought you heard was what he said, but maybe it was something that was of your own desires. Like there's a lot of times where we realize that God, yes, is definitely in control, but he's also looking for us to partner with him in the movements. And if we get stuck, right, from our own volitions based on previous situations, we can miss what it is that he's trying to reintroduce back into our lives. So I want to bring that to you because God is a God who, one, he definitely brings second chances into our lives, but we could miss a second chance if we're not keen to pay attention to the ways in which he's able to bring us in that situation. For example, this young girl got from the beginning to the middle point. That means she definitely has the strength and the endurance to keep moving forward. I believe it. Why? Because we also know the words that the body gives up before the mind does. So her body could be quote unquote exhausted, but her mind could be like, bro, it's only three more bars. Keep going. And that part there is the belief that we have to shift in our capabilities. So there's not just the concept of what happened in the past that we have to also bypass, which means that we have to reframe how we perceive a situation. But you also have to now be willing to say, you know what, God, I'm going to partner with you. I'm going to trust in you. I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to believe that if you've allowed me to get this far, that I am capable and strong enough to get to the other side of it. Now you're not relying upon your own strength. Now you're believing that he is now going to become your strength. This is the part where we begin to stretch and say, you know what? I'm going to go one more bar. Okay, I did it. You know what? I'm going to go to the next bar. Okay, I did it. Actually, I can go to the next bar. Okay, I did it. You know what? I can actually keep, and then you realize in no time that you're at the end of that very cycle. And you don't realize it because now you're looking like, yo, I really did it despite what took place in this past. Excuse me, what took place in the past, despite your fears, despite whatever was running through your mind, making you think like, yo, I'm not good enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I don't have all the things that I need to get there, or you're concerned about the outcome, not realizing that in the movement, the momentum is going to build with you in that. It's in the decisions that we're able to make that allows us to be able to pivot with God instead of being paralyzed by the fear of not knowing how it's going to work out. It's in the movement, even if it's low. Remember, she paused in the middle right there. She wasn't sure how that middle part was going to work. But even if your hands are shaking, even if your hands are trembling, even if you're starting to get the blisters on your fingers, right? You begin to realize that you can actually do it by taking the next step. Sometimes we get so ahead of ourselves in the middle phase that we're like, man, that's like 20 steps away. I don't know if I can do it and stuff like that. And you don't realize that you're not being asked to take 5 steps right now, but maybe you're just being asked, like, yo, just try doing one more. Just try going one more. I think about people who go to the gym, right? And what does a coach tell them in the gym? Their trainer. Their trainer's like, all right, just do like one more rep. Okay, just do one more rep. Just do one more rep because the trainer knows that it's in them to do 10 more. But I'm not going to tell you 10 more because if I tell you 10 more, your mind is going to already believe that it's defeated and it can't do it and it's going to try to give up right where it's at. But if I tell you just do one more and I can tell you in increments of one or two or even maybe three, depending, then you're more apt to do it. You're more capable of doing it. Why? Because your mind's not seeing it as this defeated number. Your mind is seeing it as like, okay, I can do one. Oh, yeah, I could do it. Oh, I could do it. And then you realize you're much stronger than you've even given yourself credit for. We have to understand that as we look at the concept of mindset mobility, that there is more strength inside of us than we realize, right? And just because you're in a season right now where you might be feeling, depending on where you are, as though your feet are just dangling and you're kind of looking like, what to do, what to do, what to do. I want you to understand this concept that you have the ability to go forward, that you have the ability to grow through this as you go through this, right? Growth and pain go hand in hand. There is no growth without the pain because the pain is an indication that there is a stretch that is taking place. When we stretch out, we're able to see the growth that we've made. And when we see the growth that we've made, we can now determine that maybe we've outgrown a season, or we've outgrown a place, or we've outgrown a job, or even outgrown a career, right? That happens a lot where we're in that middle phase of not knowing what to do next because maybe where you was at before can't hold or contain what it is that is being birthed through you because now you've been able to stretch in a way where it's allowed you to be able to perceive that things are actually different than when you first arrived. Another way to look at it is understanding that how you're feeling isn't something that's abnormal. I want you to go ahead and understand that how you're feeling in that dangling moment is a total normal response, but you have to make a choice. You have to begin to understand that what you're about to do here is moving in the direction towards the purpose that you desire. You're not going to go backwards on the monkey bars and turn around and say, oh, I'm going back to the starting line. No one does that. But instead, you can say, you know what? I'm going to keep going until I physically can't. Because here's the thing. As long as you're standing in that middle phase, as long as you're still hangling by the monkey bars, as long as you're still dangling in the air, there's still strength in your arms. How do I know that? Because if there wasn't any strength, you would have already let go. Just saying. So there's strength there. So utilize your strength instead of dangling mid-air. Begin to make the movement. Because as you're moving, you're gonna get somewhere. You're gonna get to the other side, and you're gonna watch the pieces really begin to come alive in a different way for you. So, if you're someone who's like, listen, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you, and I'm sorry for your friend, then I want you to go ahead and take this into consideration that if you freeze right now, mid-ear, and you heard God tell you, go forward, what choice would you make? That is my question to you today. If you're mid-ear frozen in place because you're on the monkey bars, you yourself, not the child, but you, and you hear God telling you, go forward, what choice are you choosing to make? And I want you to write that down. I want that to be your assignment today. And not only do I want you to write that down, but I want you to also write out the area that you feel like you're frozen in right now, that you feel like your feet are dangling in right now. I want you to write down the area. I want you to acknowledge what part of your life feels or looks like that right now. So you can begin to express what that is openly, out loud, out your mouth, to now also be able to acknowledge and say, God, I simply trust you. I simply trust you. And I simply am going to walk with you and go with you and move with you. Because here's the thing, you're not weak. You might be tired, but you're not weak. And the more you pause there, the harder it is going to be for you to go. But if you can begin to make the movement, you're going to begin to see that the fear that you was once feeling slowly starts to dissipate because now you have hope, because now you feel restoration, because now you feel determination, because now you're building up resiliency, and because now you know that that challenge is behind you and behind me. Just saying. And that's where your momentum kicks in. And that's where your momentum kicks in. Yeah, we're gonna leave it right there. So for those of you who are ready to be like, listen, I'm ready to get moving again. I'm ready to let go of this fear. I'm ready to just go forward because I know that I can do it. And I know that my faith is gonna be louder than any doubt. I got you. Because I want you to understand that as your faith gets louder, that as you begin to rewrite the narrative that you once told yourself, that you're understanding that your assignment is calling for a different version of you to show up. And that's why I created the Glow Up Reset Bundle. Because it is the next kickstart that you need for your journey. Because it is the ways in which you're able to change your habits. Because it is the steps that you need in order to be accountable for what it is that you're going to do. Because the reality is this, one change, one shift can make all the difference. And with a 30-minute coaching call, a guided workbook, an email check in, and a habit tracker, you'll be able to have the tools that you need to remind you that the changes that you're doing right now are going to lead you closer to the purpose that you envisioned for yourself. And listen, if you're hearing this and you're like, yo, I hear you. I know I need accountability, but I feel like I need something deeper or I need a stronger connection in order for me to really get to the places and spaces that I'm called to. I got you with a whole system that I created called the Glow Up Reset Suite. It's a 90-day program that's going to give you a deeper dive for those, especially who are serious about shifting, not only mentally, but spiritually and really practically, because we're all about practical application. And this is going to be the program where you're going to be doing the work for you. We build up the structure so this way you can really tap into the growth and the transformation that you're looking for so it can begin to stick to you. Because we understand that changing habits is all about repetition. That consistency is key. And I'm not just here walking with you on the sidelines. No, I'm here with you in the game, cheering you on and helping you to be positioned in the right spot, just like a coach does with their team. They get them in the right spot so this way they can be there in the outfield at the bases just in time for the game so they can make sure that they hit anything coming their way. That's what we're doing today. So if you're here and you're ready for the changes and you're ready to get off of that resistant train and you're ready to make the moves that you need to do, then I want to invite you on this day to join us either in the reset suite with the glow up or with the reset bundle. That being said, I'm Jessica M. Harris. I'm excited that you are here today and we are going to be back with another episode. Remember, we're here every Tuesday and Thursdays to do what? To help you ignite your glow. Bye for now. Don't forget to share this out with a friend or sister of yours who needs an extra boost of encouragement in this season.